Hi, Peter. Ready to give me a lift?
Hold on tight.
Swing really close to the ground.
So the Mary Jane Thrill Ride minigames are a little odd, but I think they're kind of cute. You'll see over there on the right we have a heart counter. We want 250 of those. Mary Jane will tell us how she wants us to swing, and if we swing the way she wants, then we get more hearts, and our heart counter obviously goes up faster. This is the easy Mary Jane Thrill Ride, which means it's, well, easy to get your hearts up to maximum. If you follow her instructions at all, I'm sure you'll do fine, but in addition to following her instructions, you can also pick up those big pink hearts that are just floating in the air, which will give you an even bigger boost to your heart counter. Maybe this first thrill ride mission is just to get you used to how it works, because that would make sense to me, but it's also good for teaching you how to get higher with the web swinging, in case you didn't quite gather that from the basic tutorial. But in addition to all these weird dating sim crossed with the driving game mechanics, you also need to get from one checkpoint to the other within the time limit. As this is the easy thrill ride mission, the time limit is also very, well, lenient. It is worth noting that you have to be swinging through the checkpoints. You can't be jumping through them. It doesn't count until you attach a web line to something. In general, I think these missions are fun, but they do seem rather out of place with the rest of the game. I also question why Mary Jane would be so picky. If she were going somewhere important and we were taking too long, that would make sense, but when you see where we're going, it doesn't really add up, at least in my head. I mean, she obviously has the day free. Our hearts are maxed, which means we don't really need to do what she wants anymore. We're gonna do it anyway because it's more fun, but we don't have to.
This is so great.
I wish that
You get to do this all the time.
I wish that all the hearts were pink. Only the giant hearts are pink, not even the heart counter. Pink hearts are just better than red ones. Every heart should be pink.
This is really fast. So Harry still won't talk to you?
I've tried everything, MJ. He just won't listen. He's convinced I killed his dad.
But he's your best friend, Peter. Deep down, he has to know you'd never do anything to hurt him. Don't worry. Give him time. I'm sure he'll get over it.
I could never find a particularly good use for the wall run outside of it looking kind of cool. I also question why we have to earn these acrobatic stunts back from the second game instead of just having them from the start. Like, I understand you want the swing speed to gradually increase, and that's kind of important. But the acrobatic stunts don't really affect anything. It's not like style points are a thing in this game. So I should just be able to wall run from the start, I think. I feel like that would give the player a lot more free... Oh dear.
Untie me! Let me go!
We'd do worse, except Priscilla likes you. Hurry up! I want to get a pretty dress too!
Window shopping?
Let's get rid of him! We don't want to miss the show! Don't mess with the Arsenic Candy man! Don't get his blood on my dress! But I hear red is the new black.
I understand you worked really hard on this music track, and it is pretty awesome, my favorite track in the game by far, but also, you should probably make sure that the girls are audible over the music track during the cutscenes. Let's take a look at that new super move while we're here. After I get this one, I tend not to use the bouncing super move anymore. This one just seems a lot more convenient, serves basically the same effect.
Whatever happened to sugar and spice and everything nice?
Thanks. Some of them got away before you got here. They were headed to an abandoned theater for some kind of fashion show.
Sounds like an event I shouldn't miss.
Cleaning this place is gonna suck.
I know that Toby has infamously deadpan delivery. Honestly, I think that's just his natural voice, but I'm not sure what you could do with these lines the writer provided. They're pretty bad. How do you even make that line sound interesting? It's not something Spider-Man would say in that situation. It's not even quippy.
Next, we have Coquetta Zenobia, looking deadly in velvet and lace. Don't turn your back on this one, boys.
Alright, it's time to talk about the nuances of the Arsenic Candy girls. They tend to dodge a lot of your heavy attacks. For example, if we use that heavy attack we used to take out the Apocalypse gang leader, square, square, triangle, they will dodge the third strike. So it's best to either lead with a heavy attack or just don't use one at all. It should also be noted that leading with a heavy attack leaves you really open, so you should be careful when you decide to do that.
Arsenic Candy
Using light attacks all the time though, that works perfectly fine if you want to go that way. I prefer to lead with a heavy attack and then kick them in the air or bounce off their head, because time we spend in the air is time we can use to refill our spider instinct so we can activate it again when we land. They're not a super intimidating enemy type unless you really like to mix heavy attacks in after your light blows. They do also have umbrellas which they can use to block your web balls, but we don't even have the web ball combo yet, so we don't need to worry about that. You may have also noticed a different Arsenic Candy Girl enemy type in here, this one with the hammer that we just jumped from. The ones with the hammers work entirely differently. If you lead with a light attack, they will dodge it every time, and the only way to make them open is to lead with a heavy attack instead. As I said, this can leave you vulnerable. It's worth noting that even if you goof up and use the wrong kind of attack, you can still jump off their heads to escape, like this. Since you're always going to connect your blow if you lead with a heavy attack regardless of which type you're fighting, it can be tempting just to use nothing but heavy attacks, but that's incredibly dangerous in large numbers. The numbers here aren't all that intense though. Unless you're only fighting 2 or 3 enemies that also happen to be really spread out, it's not a good idea just to mash triangle. At least not yet.
Teddy bear grenades. Nice follow through on the theme, I guess. Time my attack to stop that chandelier. That would have left a mark.
Thanks for rescuing us, Spider-Man. Listen, this might sound crazy, but I know what a girl's got the bears they were throwing around. I work at the factory that makes them. That's where I was kidnapped.
Sounds like that teddy bear factory is my next stop.
I don't think they were even trying to be humorous with that exit line. I don't think they were even trying. Right, so obviously we're gonna head to the next Arsenic Candy Girl mission.
Now, ladies, I know they're cute, but stealing is still wrong.
Keep loading those boxes. The rest of you, squash the itsy bitsy spider. Priscilla's gonna be pissed if we don't get those bears. Tell me about it.
Unique to this mission, there is a helicopter here, which means if we try to escape by leaping upward underneath the helicopter, we will hit the helicopter blades and damage ourselves. But at the same time, We can fling the Arsenic Candy girls into the helicopter blades with hilarious results. This helps us move the fight away from the helicopter where we won't really have to worry about it.
So much for the great teddy bear robbery.
Spider-Man!
Big money in stolen teddies these days?
See, there you go, that line wasn't so bad. The enemies start rather clumped together, so I like to use our super move to throw them away early on. This lets us take care of a few stragglers and thin the ranks a bit. They will quickly move back together, since of course you're their focal point, but hopefully you've taken out a few by then. Enough to make it not nearly as difficult. This isn't Arkham Asylum, and if you try to fight in the center of a big group of enemies, you will die very quickly. You want to stay on the outside of any given group of enemies whenever possible. Spider-Man isn't exactly known for his area attacks after all, though we will soon get a super attack that is great if we do actually get boxed in.
Time to fly! We gotta meet up at the warehouse.
Better hang back a little. We're getting too close.
For this stretch of the mission, we are tasked with following their helicopter, and it's rather underwhelming because all the helicopter does is fly over the bridge. You can actually easily trick yourself into thinking the helicopter is doing something more complex, but no, it just flies straight along the bridge the whole time until it reaches its destination. Nothing in this game really comes close to the chase missions of Spider-Man 2's story, but I consider this more of a straight-up beat-em-up than I do a general Spider-Man game. It doesn't have nearly as much variety in spite of a few awkward attempts here and there like this one. It's best when it focuses on the punching.
Priscilla wants this place burned to the ground. Don't leave any evidence. We don't want cops at the wedding.
Someone's been playing with matches.
Looks like you got a choice, Spidey. Stop us or save the people trapped in there. What you gonna do?
Obviously, since we're Spider-Man, we choose both. There is another helicopter smack dab in the middle of the fight this time, which means if we try to juggle someone underneath it or escape underneath it, we will end up hurting ourselves just like last time. The strategy I use here is to separate the girl with the hammer away from the others because she is the most dangerous. After that, we only have some basic arsenic girls to deal with, and they're on opposite sides of the helicopter, which makes my job even easier still.
I need to invite you guys to my next barbecue.
In this next section, of course, we need to save people from a burning building, something that involves a couple of quick-time events, some minor platforming, and no time limit. It's a rather underwhelming rescue is what I'm trying to say. I do find having to alternate mashing square and circle is a rather odd way to do quick-time events, and I don't understand why they chose those two buttons.
Thanks, Spidey. There's still a lady trapped inside of there. Fire's spreading fast. I don't have much time.
Hurry! It's getting so hot! Help! Spider-Man, please! Save me!
I really dislike the QuickTime events in this game in general, but I dislike this one in particular because it's really hard to tell if you're making progress. Like, you may be thinking, am I mashing it hard enough? Am I mashing it fast enough? What am I doing wrong? But no, it just takes forever.
Whoa! The whole place is coming down.
In spite of the fact that this place is apparently coming down on top of our heads right now, there's no timer and we're not in any real danger. Sometimes it's possible to accidentally land on top of a fire, or a firecracker will hit us and deal minor damage, but it's nothing. This is nothing. No one's actually in danger, there's no challenge. We just gotta find our way to the exit.
I'm getting a bad feeling about this wedding Arsenic Candy's planning.